KREM 2 News 10 at 10 begins now with Mark Hanrahan and Jeremy Legoo.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. New tonight, a federal jury in Spokane found two men guilty today in a double murder on the Colville Reservation that happened 2 years ago. It was a story that gripped the towns of Keller and Nespelem in fear. According to U.S. Attorney Vanessa Waldriff, 24-year-old Zachary Holt and 35-year-old Desmonique Tensley were found guilty on all 17 counts. Charges included felony murder in Indian country and attempted murder of a federal officer. Court documents show the two men went on a 6-week crime spree stretching from North Idaho to the Colville Reservation. They reportedly shot and killed 2 people in Keller and shot a tribal police officer in Nespelem.
My heart goes out to the Neals. My heart goes out to the officers who very bravely responded and attempted to apprehend these defendants, and one of whom was shot in the process.
Holt and Tensley are expected to be sentenced coming up in February. All right, with Thanksgiving almost here, Mother Nature could make or break your travel plans. So let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo for what we can expect in the coming days. Jeremy?
Well, I think Mother Nature cooperates for once in this month of November. Right now we sit at 38 degrees, but with the dew point of 38 degrees, it is very likely that we wind up seeing some patchy fog start to form across the inland northwest. Still have that low sitting off the coast, still throwing moisture at us, and we still have some of those scattered showers. A lot of those now moving their way to the state line and into North Idaho. Bulk of that activity moving out of Spokane County, still a lingering few showers, and expect those to stick around. I think tomorrow morning we wake up to a couple of light scattered showers. Those then move up into the mountains by late in the morning. And tomorrow afternoon we might even see a peak of sunshine. Wednesday offers a similar start. A couple of stray showers to start the day, eventually move up into the mountains in the afternoon. Here's how this goes. Tomorrow morning, some patchy dense fog and a little bit of morning rain and snow. Dense fog Wednesday morning, but I don't think we get rid of the cloud cover. It just sticks around all day. Thanksgiving. I think we start out cloudy, but maybe see a little bit of sunshine in the afternoon.
All right, sounds good. Jeremy will check back in with you later in the show. Now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. 2 people died last night in Kootenai County in a possible explosion and fire. According to the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office, it happened just before 7:30 last night on West Kearney Road in the Micah Flats area. This is south of Coeur d'Alene. The Sheriff's Office says they found the home fully engulfed, and it took first responders hours to put the flames out. The Idaho State Fire Marshal's office is now investigating. Spokane Public Schools and the city's Parks Department are teaming up on tax proposals for the coming year. This comes after the district's bond failed in February. They've now joined on to a study to look at how they can share resources and assets like land and facilities. The school district has seen a historic increase in kids participating in after-school activities, and more adults are using parks for recreation. Superintendent Adam Swinyard says a joint partnership could also give voters a better value. And Spokane County Republicans gearing up to nominate a replacement for the Spokane County Treasurer. That position will soon be vacant when current Treasurer Michael Baumgartner heads to Congress to serve Washington's 5th Congressional District. Those interested in the job can participate in the Spokane County Republicans' evaluation and vetting process. Evaluation forms are due by 5 p.m. this Friday. The vetting committee will begin interviews on December 7th. Whomever is appointed will serve as treasurer until November of next year. If they want to remain in that position, they'll need to run for election. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. In some national news, the Menendez brothers could be a step closer to freedom. Today, a California judge examined evidence of abuse the men claim they suffered at the hands of their father. You might remember the brothers Eric and Lyle Menendez, now 53 and 56 years old, were sentenced to life in prison without parole for the 1989 murders of Jose and Kitty Menendez. Prosecutors contended they did it for the money. Their lawyers say new evidence of sex abuse by their father should allow them to go free. Now to a KREM 2 investigation. Washington State is home to wolves, cougars, and bears, and over the past decade, they've killed hundreds of livestock here in eastern Washington. KREM 2's Whitney Ward dug into the numbers and spoke with a woman who feels her entire livelihood is under attack, not just by the animals, but also by state leaders who she says aren't fixing the problem.
I did not bring any apples. We didn't.
Kathy McKay is the lifelong owner of K Diamond K Guest Ranch in Republic. Built by her parents, she has spent her life continuing the family legacy and passing it on to others.
We feed 2 tons of hay a day.
But as she showed me around her 1,700-acre property, she says the growing wolf population right in her own backyard makes her wonder about the future.
We're the ones going extinct.
Kathy tells me she has known wolf packs on all sides.
This is where they're killing the most. We have our cattle currently just down in that field.
How many packs are up here? Do you know?
I know of about 5 packs that are within 25 miles of us.
That hasn't always been the case. She says it's only been in the last 5 to 7 years that the wolves have truly emerged as her #1 threat.
Kathy tells me she's lost more than 100 animals here at the ranch over the last decade. At first, it was maybe 1 or 2 each year, but this year alone, it's already been 20. She says the problem clearly is not getting better, it's getting worse.
But wolves are not the only predator out there. This map from Washington's Department of Fish and Wildlife shows reported sightings of the state's wolves, cougars, and even grizzly bears. Cougar sightings are the most frequent statewide. It's estimated there are about 2,500 adult cougars in the state, and there are thousands of reports every year and occasionally attacks on people, like this one near Snoqualmie Pass earlier this year, or this one in Stevens County in 2022 that seriously injured a little girl.
How scary it must have been for them.
WDFW data shows 247 depredation incidents involving cougars, killing or injuring mostly smaller animals like goats and sheep. 1 in 3 attacks happening in these 4 counties. Grizzlies are reported far less often, but they are in Washington. This same map shows a handful of sightings just this year. And while they are a protected species in Washington, they are managed at the federal level by U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and their numbers in Washington are minimal, only a few dozen that roam between the U.S.-Canada border in the Selkirk Mountains and a handful in the North Cascades. But the plan to bring grizzlies back also worries a lot of people here in eastern Washington, saying they will only add to the wolf problem. This grizzly was spotted on camera numerous times in Stevens County, killing one family's chickens.
Grizzly bears, they just don't stop. Once they find something that they want, you don't just chase them off.
But wolves are what's spotted most regularly in Ferry, Stevens, and Pend Oreille counties, and I have covered their continued conflict with ranchers here for almost 10 years. More than half of the state's 42 documented packs are in this small remote corner of the state, at least 260 total wolves and 36 known attacks on cattle. But law enforcement here says those official numbers are just a fraction of reality.
Some of the ranchers here aren't reporting anymore because contacting us, contacting the Department of Fish and Wildlife, they have given up on us coming up with solutions.
Ray Maycumber has been the sheriff of Ferry County for the last decade. He is now one of 16 Eastern Washington sheriffs who have formed a coalition providing testimony to the Fish and Wildlife Commission about serious concerns for public safety.
You've got bus stops out in the rural areas that overlap with known wolf territory. They're being seen all over the place, even in backyards.
He says ranchers and property owners like Kathy have lost faith in the state's ability or willingness to manage Washington's wolves in a way that works for everyone.
We keep following a plan that isn't working.
What would your message be to incoming state leaders?
Be sure to listen to everyone.
I took those concerns to the Department of Fish and Wildlife to ask what would it take to change how Washington manages its wolves.
What does it tell you as a department that so many people don't want to report, that so many people don't feel that it makes a difference?
It is a little discouraging because we also rely on that data to know what's going on out there. Our numbers differ a lot then from what we're hearing.
What about the idea of relocating some of them out of that northeast corner into kind of the southwest where they're not yet, fully established, just to balance things out and kind of ease the burden?
The research on translocation shows that generally animals don't survive or they just return where they came from. So what we could do, revisit the gray wolf conservation and management plan. We could open that up and rediscuss it. But again, that's something that would have to come at the direction of either the Fish and Wildlife Commission or a request from the Wolf Advisory Group.
She says so far that hasn't happened, so until then, both sides will have to make some sacrifice. Back here at K Diamond K, Kathy says the sacrifice has been one-sided.
There's people 300 miles away making decisions for our livelihood. I feel like we're preaching on deaf ears.
She worries even if there is a change, it may be too little and too late.
We as humans, I feel, have been put here to manage the land. Our whole life, we helped animals, and they can't speak, they can't talk, so they are all relying on me to protect them.
That was KREM 2's Whitney Ward reporting. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.